We are gonna sew a birthday crown together today. This is a perfect beginner sewing project, and I'm gonna walk you guys through step by step how to make this and give you tips and tricks along the way. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, you don't have to use this pattern. You can definitely make your own. However, I do sell this pattern and I have it linked in this video, and it's the exact pattern that I used to make the crown that you saw at the beginning of the video, and it's what we'll be using to make this project. So first step, you're gonna want to tape your pattern together. Notice when you're taping it, there is a square here that measures 2 inches by 2 inches. Before you start on this project, you're gonna wanna make sure that this does in fact measure 2 inches by 2 inches. So to do that, while you're printing, you're gonna wanna make sure that you printed it out at 100% scale. But again, just double check to make sure that your printer didn't print it out in a weird way. When you've got your pattern all taped together, now we're gonna cut it out. One of the reasons this is a good beginner sewing project is that it's pretty low commitment. You really don't need a lot of fabric to work on this project. Making this crown today for my friend whose son is about to have his first birthday. So this is the fabric she chose out of my stash. It is a lot of fabric. It is an old bed sheet. However, we really don't need much of it. If you're going to the fabric store, you probably need only about 1/8 of a meter. I always like having a little bit of extra fabric on hand just in case I make a mistake though. You will also need a form of stiffener. So whether that's quilting batting or a medium to heavyweight interfacing. For these, I used a quilting batting, but today I'm gonna be using a heavyweight interfacing just to add a bit more structural integrity to our project. If you are a beginner to sewing, you'll notice on the pattern, it says cut 2 in fabric and then cut 1 in batting or interfacing. It also says that there's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So all that means is that I have already included the seam allowance. So you'll just need to either trace or cut around this pattern as a whole. And then as far as cutting out the fabric and interfacing, the interfacing, you're gonna wanna just cut through 1 layer, and you're gonna be cutting and marking just one of them. And then when we say cut 2 in fabric, it means your fabric is gonna be folded on top of itself. That way, when you mark and cut it, you're actually cutting out 2 pieces. So let's go do that right now. Now, if you are an extreme beginner, you may want to be a little mindful of what kind of fabric you're picking for this project. I would recommend something that is a tightly woven cotton, kind of like a quilting cotton, so it doesn't stretch too much on you. I'd also recommend using a solid fabric or a fabric with a pattern that is not directional. This one, for example, I'm going to want to be very mindful when placing my pattern that the lines are straight on the pattern. That's something you can totally do as a beginner, but it's just something extra to keep in mind when you're sewing and choosing your fabric. Now again, because I've got a striped fabric, I'm really being mindful of where I'm placing my pattern piece. This is the center of my pattern piece, and so I want this stripe running through the middle, and then you can see that it's evenly distributed throughout the stripes. Now, there's a couple different ways you can go about marking your pattern. I personally like just tracing it and then cutting out along that line. This is where if you had a larger pattern piece, I would suggest using some pattern weights. Okay, now this is what we're left with. I'm gonna grab my fabric scissors and cut on the line. It's just being patient. After cutting, this is what you'll be left with. 1 piece of interfacing cut out, and then 2 pieces of fabric. What I'm gonna do now is attach the interfacing to what will be my outer piece of my crown, so the piece that you will see on the outside, not on the inside of the forehead. To do that, we're gonna be top stitching, but we're also gonna use this wonderful stuff right here, which is a temporary adhesive. It helps your interfacing or batting stick to your layer of fabric while you're top stitching. That way it doesn't shift around on you. You're just gonna spray it on your fabric and then bring it over to your iron, apply some heat to kind of seal that in. Once you got it all ironed on, we are gonna be top stitching our fabric. If you have a removable pen or fabric marker, you can mark your top stitching lines on the outside, or if you like, you can mark them on the inside. I will be marking mine on the outside because I wanna be able to see them in relation to the stripes. And I'm gonna be marking them in kind of a bit of a diamond pattern. Once you have all your top stitching lines marked, you're gonna bring it over to your sewing machine. Now we are gonna set up a long stitch length. I like to do a 4 when I do top stitching, and I'm just using white thread today. I think it'll look good with the white stripes. Now I'm not an expert quilter, but I did learn in my quilting class that I took last year that you need to start your top stitching in the center of your project and work your way out. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do, just so the batting or interfacing doesn't shift on you while you're working on your project. And like every step, just make sure that you take your time. Once you've cut off all your loose threads and you finish top stitching, this is what you're gonna be left with. You're gonna have one of your pieces of fabric that's gonna be quilted either to your batting or your interfacing. The reason I want you to have one layer is because before we assemble the crown, we are gonna be adding a name to the crown. We want all of our ugly threads hidden inside the crown and not visible when we have the crown off. So I'm gonna mark the name on my crown, and then I will be embroidering it, and then we will be assembling the crown. My friend's child's name is Hudson. I wanted to make sure that his name was centered on the crown, and this is the embroidery floss we're gonna use to embroider his name. I am by no means an expert embroiderer. This is very much one of those things where taking your time pays off. I do just like a chain stitch and simply just follow the lines. Okay, once your name is fully embroidered, it's time to start assembling this bad boy. And the first step to do that, you're gonna place your fabric right sides together. So that means this is the right side of the fabric, this is the wrong side of the fabric. You're gonna place them on top of each other, right sides together. You're gonna clip them or pin them in place, and we're gonna just sew along the scalloped edge of the crown. We're not gonna sew the bottom, we're not gonna sew the sides, just this top edge, and then I'll kind of explain why afterwards. Now, when sewing along curves, I like to use a smaller stitch length. So usually I'd be sewing on a 2.5 stitch length. I'm gonna put it down to 1.8, just to make sure your curves and edges are super reinforced. And again, we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance for this project. Now you could mark it on your fabric with a removable fabric marker, or you can use your sewing machine as a guide. And that's what I'm gonna do. A lot of sewing machines will have kind of like a grid on the side here, and it'll tell you from where your needle is, how far away the fabric is sitting. And you can use that as a guide. I'm gonna get started. We do a back stitch at the beginning. And because we're sewing around curves, we just want to be very patient and just take our time so they turn out well. If I'm ever in an area also where I really want to take my time, I sometimes manually just lift my needle so I can lift and turn at the same time to be super accurate. Also do a couple stitches, lift your foot on your machine and swivel your fabric, do a stitch, again, needle down, lift and flip. I'm using the edge of my foot as a sewing guide, so I'm just making sure that as I'm sewing, the edge of my foot is on the raw edge of my fabric. Now your top edge should be fully sewn. Again, take your time with this. This is like the most finicky part probably of this whole process. But what we're gonna be doing now is trimming and clipping our seam allowances. So the reason why we use such a small stitch length on curves is because you're gonna have to clip very close to those curves to make sure that your item lays flat. For example, just to give you a visual, if I were to just turn this right sides out right now without clipping the seam allowances, this is what we're gonna get. The fabric is not really gonna be able to flip over without having a ton of puckering like this, and it doesn't lay flat. Of course, pressing with the iron will help that issue, but really what we need to be doing is clipping our curves so the fabric can move more freely. So grab your fabric scissors, and anytime there's an inward curve, this for example, you're going to clip like this right up against the stitching line. You'll see already how much better this moves versus this. Doesn't really have any give versus this side, it can open up freely. So we're gonna be doing that on all the inward curves, and the outward curves, you're gonna be cutting out little triangles like this. That's how we clip an outward curve. Because this fabric isn't too bulky, I'm not really gonna need to trim my seam allowances. I'm gonna leave them as is. But again, I'm just gonna make sure that I clip at all of my curves. And then we're gonna be taking it over to the iron and really pressing it very well. Something I really learned in fashion school was that ironing and like pressing your seams properly is almost as important as sewing. It can be the difference between something that looks homemade in a bad way and something that just really look very professional. By pressing all your seams open and flat, I've clipped all my curves. Now we're gonna go over to the iron and I'm going to be turning it right sides out and giving it a really good pressing. But you can already see the huge difference in clipping the curves. The fabric actually folds over properly. Clip your curves, people. It makes the hugest difference. I should also mention the reason why we are not sewing the bottom edge yet is because I want to be able to make sure the scallop points of the crown are pressed properly, and then we are not going to be flipping those back because we don't want to lose that super crisp edge. So you're going to flip the fabric right sides out, and because we did a very small stitch length, you can be a little rough with it, like you're not gonna break it, so flip it inside out, get your finger or a pen in there and just really make sure that your crown points are flipped outwards. This is what we have, and then we are going to press along all the edges to make sure that it's laying perfectly flat. Honestly, pressing is the best part. It's really when you get to see your work come to life, and it depends on the kind of fabric you're using, but if your fabric can tolerate steam, you're really gonna wanna just get the steam in there. Look just the difference from this edge that's been pressed versus this one. I don't know if it's translating well on camera, but it's such a huge difference. And this is why we clip our curves. Look how flat that's laying now. Would not have been doing that if you hadn't clipped right in the curves here. Now I did mention we are not gonna be turning this back out. I want this edge to remain extremely crisp like this. So what we're gonna be doing is folding this over without folding over the actual points. Again, right sides together for the bottom seam, but keep these flipped the proper way. We're gonna bring this over to the machine and again sew along the bottom edge, and then we're almost done, you guys. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry, I forgot to press record on the last clip, but you're gonna sew along the bottom edge, and once it's all sewed, you're gonna return everything inside out. Now again, there's gonna be like a bit of puckering at the bottom, but that's why we're gonna press it again at the iron. Look at the difference that pressing makes. It's amazing. What we're gonna do now is make our ties, and those are super simple to make. Just in case you're like a super beginner, I have part of my pattern. You're gonna place this on your folded fabric and cut, and this will be what you're gonna use for your ties. You can also just cut 2 strips, and what we're gonna do is fold them in half and sew along the edge. Now I'm just gonna be pressing these in half, folding the right sides together. There's one, and the same thing with this one. These, what we're gonna be doing is sewing along the long edge, not the edge that's folded, but the raw edge, 1/4 inch in. Now, I'm gonna show you the way to do this that requires you to buy the least amount of things as possible. You can use a spaghetti strap maker to flip this inside out, but the easiest way is just to use a safety pin. So you're gonna grab the end with a safety pin. You're gonna make sure that you're only grabbing one edge of the fabric, not double. And from there, then you're gonna fish the safety pin through. Gonna be a little difficult, and it's definitely easier to do with one of those spaghetti strap makers. You kind of got to pull the fabric. There we go. And then we have our turned out strap here. We're going to press them both flat, and then I'll show you how to finish the edge. Like your crown, make sure you press these very well. Try to press them so it lays flat where the seam is. Now we have 2 little tubes with open ends. You're gonna pick one of the edges, honestly, whichever one's the nicest, fold it over again, just a little bit, press it very well, and then sew along this edge to finish this end. If you have a spaghetti strap maker, then your end can be finished and you don't have to flip it over like this, but it really doesn't look bad having it like this. Okay, we have our two edges now that have been folded and sewn over. What we're gonna do is grab our crown. Our seam allowance is 1/4 inch. So what we're gonna do is flip it inwards like this, and then you're gonna give it a really good pressing. Take the raw edge of your tie and sandwich it between the fabric. You're gonna wanna center it. And then you can either hand stitch along this edge or you can machine top stitch. It's up to you. I'm gonna machine stitch it, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And there you have it. We have our edges finished nicely. While you're finishing the edge, it's good to backstitch along where the tie is just to give it some extra reinforcement. But as you can see, even with top stitching, not hand sewing, it leaves a very clean edge on both sides. And then it's as simple as tying the crown. And this is great because your child will be able to wear it for all their birthdays because of the tie. Now, all I have left to do for this one is add the pom-poms. Once you have your crown assembled and your ties attached, all you have left to do is add your pom-poms. So I went ahead and added most of them. We are gonna be attaching these by hand, and it's very quick and easy to do. You'll just need a needle with thread. And I like to start by grabbing a small section of the point of the thread, bringing my thread up, threading it through my pom-pom, threading my thread back down, almost exactly where I threaded it up, back down, catch another thread of my crown, back up again, and then back down, catching a thread of my crown, and then tying it off. All the while, you're gonna wanna kind of like tighten it and adjust the tension so they stay very firmly attached to your crown, especially since this is probably gonna be made for a child. If you're making it, you wanna make sure that they're very secure because pom-poms obviously cause a choking hazard. Okay, and there we go. We are all done making our birthday crown. This is what it's gonna look like. Be able to tie it on your child and adjust it to fit their head. Thank you so much for making this crown with me. If you enjoyed making it, I would appreciate a review on my Etsy or on this video. And again, pattern is linked in the description as well as all the materials I use. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more sewing content as well as tutorials. And thank you for watching. Bye guys.